May Flaum here, super excited to be sharing a tutorial with you here today, and we're adding some vinyl to my walls. This is so much fun. To get started, I'm going into Canvas Workspace, where I'll be accessing my tattered lace patterns, and these are patterns available for purchase separately. I'm going to download these to my computer. That's something that you can do so that you can then transfer them via USB to your machine. You can, of course, also transfer wirelessly. Now, I am actually going to open this up in Canvas Workspace because I do like when I'm working large, and I have a separate 12 by 24 mat that is available for purchase that I'm going to be working with here today. I like being able to see how my design looks and size it on my larger computer screen. So once I have it the way I like it, I'm going to download it to my USB drive, which I will be using to transfer my design. As you can see here, it's really easy to see all that great detail, and I can repeat with as many designs as I want to bring in and save files for. I always like to save a few more files than I think I will need. Once we're ready, though, we can get out our ScanNCut DX. And the first thing we're doing is making sure that the 12 by 24 mat is selected, as you see me doing here. This is really important because we need to make sure that we have that selected so that the machine knows we're working with a larger mat. Then we go into Retrieve Data, click that USB drive that we have inserted, and select the design that you want to do first. Once you have selected it, just follow the prompts through until you select cut. And of course, you're always going to want to verify with vinyl that you're using half cut. And then insert your material. Now, I like to use a scraper tool to really make sure my vinyl is down on that mat properly. And as you can see here, I'm just loading up my mat. You want to make sure the arrow is pointed towards the machine, and then you're just going to press the load mat button, and it's just prompting me to do something there on my screen from a previous project. No big deal. I love how the ScanNCut always prompts me to do what I need to do and how to do it. Now, once we're done, we're just going to say, okay, start, and that's going to let the machine cut the material. And because we selected half cut, the vinyl will be cut out, not the bottom. We'll talk more about that in a second. Right now, what I want to show you, though, is we can also edit in our machine itself. First, again, we're making sure the cut area is correct, that the right size mat is selected. Once that is done, I'm retrieving data. I'm going back into my USB to get a different file, this time the unicorn. And now what I'm going to do is select it. Yes, okay. And then what I will do is go into Edit, Object Edit, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and then see how big of a size I can make this unicorn here on this mat. Now, this works just as well as Canvas Workspace, but because of the smaller screen, sometimes I prefer to work on Canvas Workspace versus here on the machine. But as you can see, we certainly can do it. And then we're going to, of course, load our mat each and every time, always very important. And in addition to loading our mat, we're going to make sure, and I'm going to show you here how we do this. After we've selected cut, you're going to click on that little tool button and go down and make sure half cut is on. That's very important for transferring and weeding, which is our next step. So here you can see I am weeding this out with a pair of tweezers. That means removing any pieces we do not want. It's a very important step and pretty time consuming if you've got really super detailed images, but it's worth the time. Take your time. Don't try to move too quickly. You want everything to come out super nice, and you don't want to accidentally tear your vinyl. Now, as you can see here, there's large scale weeding to be done as well, since we're working with super large designs. This particular fairy doesn't actually make my final cut, well, that color. I changed her color. I decided I liked a different color just because I didn't want her the same as the unicorn. But anyway, this is a really great thing to multitask, where you're cutting one while you weed something else. That lets you continue to work. I will also mention here, if you have additional smaller designs you want to cut and add in, you can do that now, or you can wait until you get your larger pieces up on your wall and then decide what you would like. I knew that I wanted some small basic stars, but also some flowers from this fun built-in design. And I'm just using the portion A, and I'm going to pull just a couple different sizes in on my ScanNCut, as well as just kind of arrange them basically across the top and cut them out of a lighter pink vinyl. This is just going to really let me add some fun little details into my design. Now, once we are ready to go, we're going to start transferring. Now, our transfer material can be used and reused on each of the pieces. No problem, no worries. To do that, what you're going to just do is make sure you cut a piece that is large enough for your largest design. And then what you're going to do is separate it from the backing, as you can see here. And that backing is important to save so you can continue to reuse it. Then you'll place it sticky side down onto your vinyl. And what this is going to do is allow you to transfer that vinyl from its backing sheet there onto your wall, onto your project, whatever you're doing. And this is true for all of our vinyl projects. We always want to do this because let me tell you, if you have to work directly with that design, it is going to want to stick to itself. It is going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get transferred without that transfer sheet. So that is going to be most definitely your friend. And as you can see, again, I'm just pressing down with some nice firm pressure to make sure it is transferred off of its backing onto our transfer sheet so we can move onto our wall. Now, this craft vinyl will stick to my wall, but it will also remove. If you're not sure what you're working with or it's unlabeled, you might want to do a test in an inconspicuous area first. As you can see here, what we do is we just go up to the wall with whatever design we've got, press it down similar to how we got it onto the transfer material, and then peel the transfer material off, leaving our vinyl stuck to our wall. And before you know it, we've got a whole design. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned for many more tutorials to come. I wish you some very happy and imaginative crafting.